Good morning.
Good
Morning,
morning.
everyone.
Hey, Betsy. Hey, Greg.
Hello.
Thanks.
How's life?
Good.
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 Excellent.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, yeah. Happy Jean-Baptiste Day today.
Oh, Jean-Baptiste. And the Canadian, the Quebec has banned fireworks.
Oh, have
No
they?
fireworks.
Oh,
Well,
because
there's
of
too
the
many
fire.
fires.
Yeah, no, that's
No Canada Day fireworks. No Jean-Baptiste Day fireworks. No fireworks. So that's a good thing,
Yeah.
especially for those of us very close to Quebec.
Yes.
I can see Quebec from my backyard.
Wow.
Brian's here. Hey, Brian. Christine
Hey, Brian.
Miller, Susie Carta, Mary Sleppy,
Ooh.
Sunny Illinois from Donna Bauman. I like this. Mary Sleppy says, is anyone here attending the East Coast Genetic Genealogy Conference in October? She's registered.
excellent.
And I believe that is just the email for that is ecggc.org, right?
I believe so.
I believe so. That's October the 13th. What? No, when is it?
I'm
I
thinking
should know that.
We should know that.
September, October. Yeah. No, it's the 5th, 6th,
Earlier.
7th, 8th, 9th, that weekend. Yeah.
It's the 8th. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun conference in Maryland, in person in Maryland. We'll see you there, Mary, because I know 2 people right here, right now that will be there. Greg and I. Let's see. Good morning from D. Spencer. Talking about chainsaws in the woods. Don't know what's up with that.
Ooh.
I would watch out more for the wolf. Chainsaw. And Lynette Jester's talking about shades of brown from the Mojave Desert. Sharon Haynes is hello from Alabama. D. Spencer Carr is in Augusta, Georgia. Come golf with me? Well, okay. Can you get on the grand course there at the Augusta National? If so, I'll be there next weekend.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Really?
Let me know. I'll pack my clubs. Let's see. Carr, Pat Jackson, Patricia Jackson's Kentucky. Hey, Alice from the sunny shores of where he is. Lisa Gervais, Mary Sleppy. It will be informative, Mary Sleppy. It sure will. Let's see. Chris Ferriello. John Tyner. John, we missed you last week. Everybody wanted to know where you were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did miss you. D. Spencer's Car is excited about the Quebec fireworks ban. Sounds great.
Okay.
Let's see. Amy Gilpin. Hey, I can smell Quebec from my house. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this Amy's first time watching us? Wow.
In a while, maybe.
Because she's surprised that there's so many Canadians in our live cast.
Amy was Sandy's guest on Bingo yesterday.
I was just going to give a shout out. I watched some of that, and she did an amazing job. It was very nice. She was a double guest. She did one session on the Canada project, and then another Bingo on the First Peoples Canada project.
Because it's the first time in a long while. That's cool. We like having you back, Amy.
Yes, and great job yesterday. That was wonderful.
And Amy's like not far from me.
Oh.
No, yeah. She's
Excellent.
up the Ottawa River area, up from us. Anyway. Let's see. Yes, she did. You're getting a shout out, girlfriend. Yeah, you are. So morning, everybody. It's a beautiful kind of overcast, rainy day here in Ottawa. How's the weather out your way?
It's overcast. It's gray.
What about you? But you're not in Illinois right now.
No, I'm in Franklin, Massachusetts, and it's raining pretty heavily here.
So are you going to go out and sightsee today in the rain, or?
No, this was just a stopping point.
In
the midst of my journeys. Now I'm on to New Hampshire, state 9 in my 9-state tour.
There's lots of fun bed and breakfast inns up in that area too.
Yeah.
You could go and visit. Anyway, hold up. Betsy's in New Hampshire. Watch out. She's going to be in New Hampshire. Chris wants to know what you're bringing and when he meets you for lunch.
Yep. Next few days, Chris.
Well, we can talk about the question of the week when we're talking about meeting somebody for lunch. What is a family recipe that you have? Now, I have to say that I've been looking through these recipes and I do not see any recipe for blueberry pie.
What?
Come on, folks.
Oh, come on.
Okay, and I also have to say that WikiTree does have the 15th anniversary of the anniversary year. They're doing a great community cookbook, and the G2G post, although it says that it's all due by May the 31st, they've extended until the end of June.
Yeah.
So you have until June 31st to get in your thing. So Betsy, Greg, do you have family recipes that you would want to share with the cookbook?
I don't, but I'm helping out with the cookbook project, and I have to say I'm going to try all of these recipes.
Are you really?
They sound amazing.
The biggest recipe in our family that we're famous for is my grandmother's creamed corn. Ooh. And when people say, ooh, creamed corn, they think of flour and all of this stuff. My grandmother's creamed corn has corn and a tablespoon of water and a tablespoon of butter and salt and pepper in it. And it's all in the technique of how you cut the corn. And then you milk the cob. And that is what all those good starches from the corn is what makes it thick and tasty. I can smell her corn from a mile away. And in a couple of weeks, I will be making her corn. So that's one of the things. And my grandmother would make fig preserves. My other grandmother, not Doodle, she would make fig preserves, which I've been able to find in Middle Eastern shops here. But also she would make this really strange raisin spread. It was raisins and about a pound and a half of butter and sugar. And you would spread it on a piece of bread. It was really good.
Wow. Yeah.
Nothing, Greg? No.
I don't think I have, like, there's a few recipes that I cook often, but I just found the recipe in a grocery store. You know? So it's not a family thing. I think one of the growing up, one of my mom's favorite cakes that was called a Take It Easy chocolate cake, but that was from an old cookbook. I'm not sure where, but I think I've got the recipe for that somewhere. But
I had to go to my grandmother's house and spend the day with her learning how to do the corn. You have to cut it a specific way. And I remember also learning how to do chow chow, her onion and vegetable relish. And it took all day too. And you had to have cheesecloth and crazy. Anyway, what kind of family recipes you got?
Yeah.
What kind of recipes? And we've got a link here for people to send in recipes.
Good.
Yeah. I got corrected. D. Spencer says there's only 30 days in June. Thank you.
Oh, did someone say 31st?
I did. I probably did. I'm assuming I did. So any recipe. So this is the very first one. It's a sad story.
Oh no.
Why do that to us on a Saturday? My great Aunt Sarah. Now this is from Gail Connolly, who is a long time WikiTreer. My great Aunt Sarah was known in the family to be a master baker. What she called her chocolate roll was to die for. I lived for her visits when I was a child, knowing she'd always bring some of her famous chocolate roll. I never got her recipe for it and was devastated at the loss forever when she passed away. Then a cousin who also shared the same relationship with her told me that her mother, my sister's mother, had gotten the recipe from her Aunt Sarah, and my cousin had it. It said that her mother, who was also a famed cook, had never been successful at making it. She shared the recipe with me, and I was horrified when I saw it involved a 3-day process. 3 days.
Wow.
That's commitment.
That is commitment. That is commitment. Did anybody ever watch the movie Julie and Julia? Yes. Where the woman tried to bake all of the stuff in Julia Child's cookbook.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I love that movie. That was fun. That lady, that author just passed away. Probably from all the butter. That experiment. So Aunt Bill's brown candy And a lot of people said, "Oh yeah, we know that. We know that. We've heard that." So Alexis Nelson shared that one. Lots of good talks about it. Oh, I do have a favorite recipe, and it's called carrot loaf, but nothing else from Alice Thompson. It's a family secret. She couldn't share it with us. If she told us, she'd have to kill us. My Oma, grandma, used to make a traditional German dinner of Rolladen, boiled potatoes and red cabbage. I've continued this tradition for many years. I looked it up, and it's strips of meat slathered in mustard with pickles in it, cooked somehow.
Wow.
Does that sound good? It does. Yeah, no, I'm not a mustard person.
I try it. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I'd have a taste.
We had a long conversation about Carolina hash, which is South Carolina barbecue hash, and it's something you make in a cauldron with an oar of a boat as the stir stick, and it cooks for 24 hours or whatever. My grandmother Doodles, next door neighbor Mr. Rowlands, used to make it, and when he was cooking it, the whole neighborhood smelled, because you have to cook it outside over heat. So Carolina hash, it's very, very specific to South Carolina. Now I don't have the recipe. I can just tell you that I have consumed it. Mother for Christmas would Christmas cake recipe in the Toronto Star newspaper, and so that became their thing. Somebody had a really interesting recipe, Christmas cake, and if you are what you eat, my father's a fruit cake. Yeah, really. No, I'm not kidding. Let's see. Grandmother's born and raised in Vienna. Let's see. Wealthy family. She's a great cook. Sachertorte became the family's birthday cake. Somebody want to look that one up. So that's her favorite. I'm looking for the. Oh yeah, goulash, fresh ground hamburger, vegetables from a can. And so a lot of people were talking about goulash and sharing recipes for goulash. I'm trying to find. Oh, look, I have several family favorites, and I've submitted a few of them for the upcoming 15th anniversary WikiTree cookbook. Nice. Yeah, my grandmother Doodle. I thought this was my mom's recipe, was for eggs goldenrod, where you boil eggs, then after they're boiled, you separate the white and the yolk. You create a bechamel sauce, chop up the whites, put them in the bechamel sauce, then pour the bechamel sauce with the whites in it over toast, and then crumble the egg yolk over the top of it. That was eggs goldenrod. That is such a comfort food. And I thought it was my mom's recipe, but she said it was my grandmother Doodle's.
That sounds like it would take some technique.
I can make that. I've made that for my kids, and they didn't get as excited. They also aren't excited about grits. What the heck?
No, really?
Yeah. Look, Greg's like, oh no, really? We did put up a link to the cookbook. Let's see. I'm looking for there was one about deep frying eggs. Raisin pie. That made me think of my grandmother's raisin spread. The other grandmother. German egg noodles. Is this it? Crust, knead the flour. I can't read all these out loud because I'm gonna just drool, and I won't be able to do anything because my whole desk will be wet. Literally, Somebody had something in here about mincemeat, but somebody had something in here about deep frying eggs. And I actually saw a thing yesterday when I was looking through here. I was looking through these, and because I was looking through these, my Facebook videos came up, and a couple of them had some interesting recipes. And one was a deep fried egg, but he was making the deviled egg stuff to put on top.
Yeah.
But he deep fried the egg before he put the deviled egg stuff in it. And when he bit into it, it crunched. I want to try one of those.
That's weird.
Too.
So there's 2 pages of these.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 pages. Ravioli from chickpeas. I saw yesterday that a more healthy way to make hummus is to make it with butter beans. because butter beans has less bad stuff in it. There we go. Than chickpeas. And so people were making hummus with butter beans. That's interesting.
Yeah.
My dad grew up eating an unusual dish that his grandmother, Lucille May Marshall, used to make, then made it for us. We always thought it was just an impromptu combination that turned out to be worth repeating. She was from Granger County, Tennessee, and 10 or 15 years ago, I ran across somebody in this forum or a list for Granger County that had also eaten it. So it's not strictly a family recipe, but it's definitely has limited range. Height of summer tomatoes make a difference here. So they're not telling us the name of it. So I can't say, oh, this is. So cut a piece of warm cornbread in half, set it open face on a plate, Southern style, not Northern stuff with sugar. I grew up eating both, and trust me, the sweeter version would be revolting in this. I'm from the South, and we put sugar in ours. There's like 3 different kinds. There's corn poke, corn cake, and cornbread. Add a slice of tomato on each half and a few rings of red onion. My grandfather would love this. Pile on some slow cooked Southern style green beans, the kind that you cook for 2 hours with fat back or a ham hock, not the modern, still crunchy and bright green ones. And then eat it. It's good. This does sound very good. I would have stopped at just the big slice of fresh tomato. Yeah, and I would have toasted with butter that cornbread. Yeah.
Well, actually, that sounds like one of the things that Julie's family does. They just make a tomato and red onion salad. That, a little bit of olive oil and some salt. Mix it up.
That sounds good. I love red onion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RSC Cola. So we have a recipe for punch. This is from Sharon Haynes. We're talking Appalachian here. We're talking RSC Cola. We have. Did I say Appalachia again?
You did. Is Sandy in the chat?
I haven't seen her, but
yeah. We have a recipe for a punch that we made for a holiday to get together for Mom's family. It involved sweet tea, and you got to say it like this: RSC Cola.
RSC.
Orange soda and ice cream. Mix all the liquids together and put the ice cream in. My brother and I still make it every year. Yeah, my grandmother used to make us cream sodas by using like 7-Up and lime sherbet.
Nice.
That was really tasty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, when talking about ancestors recipes, my mind jumps forever to this scene. What was her name? Nestle
Tollhouse.
Nestle. You Americans have Butcher the French. Yeah. That's, you know who that's from.
That's Friends. That's
from Brian Nash. I have a few different recipes that were traditional in my family. Shortbread, cookies, beans. Nobody's upvoted Brian yet, so he must have just put this up. 44 minutes ago. Here, I'm going to upvote him. There you go, Brian. You feel better? I feel better.
Oh, there's 2 votes. Someone else must have upvoted at the same time.
So you need to send your recipes in because we're getting to the end of the time here. Send those recipes in, and enjoy time. Go through and look at these, read through them, grab some recipes that you want to. I'm sorry I couldn't refine the one that was about deep frying the already cooked boiled eggs, but you can find it and enjoy that. That's the question of the week was recipes, and I'm going to switch this over to Greg.
Okay. Which means I have to present my screen, which I should have done. Yeah. Okay. And I'm entire screen. We're going to do this one because the notables this week are, let's add to the stream. Which notable South African are you most closely connected to?
Excellent.
And just like many of the notables or the themes for our week, it's because of a recent WikiTree challenge. And so the most recent WikiTree challenge was in association with the Genealogical Society of South Africa, and they've picked out these notable.
I'm going to go ahead and say this right off the bat. Betsy and Greg and I are all related to the closest person, the same person. So Colin Graham Botha. So when you get to him, just think that we all 3 share his whatever.
Yeah, that's interesting how that worked out, eh?
Yeah. Everybody share your closest. And
Yeah.
I'm looking back through at some of the comments on the recipes. That's funny. Nobody else is drooling like me.
Yeah. So, and the one that they've suggested to start with is J.R.R. Tolkien. So I'll jump over to his first. Where are we here? Oh, that's his father. I need to go back. So before I start, I need to give a huge shout out to my friend on Discord, Real Smith, who is also another developer. And he this week, his app, the Ancestry, which is a new one added to the Tree apps, called the Ancestor Explorer Lines, or Ancestor Lines Explorer, ALE, was featured in the weekly newsletter on Wednesday. And we often go back and forth helping each other and suggesting things with our apps. But he's from South Africa, and he helped me out with some of the pronunciations. Now, if I can remember how to pronounce them correctly, it's thanks to Real. But if I don't, it's my own fault. So anyways, here's my... so the first one, the notable one, the one that most people already are familiar with, is J.R.R. Tolkien, born John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, in Bloemfontein, Orange Free State in South Africa, in the South Africa area, on the 3rd of January, 1892, same year as one of my grandmothers was born, actually. And I didn't realize that he was from the South Africa area. I always, associated him with England and, of course, the Hobbits and Middle Earth and all of that. But I didn't realize there was a South African connection, which was interesting. And he passed away in 1973 at the age of 81 in Bournemouth, Hampshire, England. And look at the people who put this profile together. Look at all of these categories.
Wow.
There are some profiles where they have gone nuts on categories, but this one is this. Look at this: fantasy authors, science fiction authors, the cemetery is buried in, famous authors, featured authors, this day in history. I didn't realize there was a category for this day in history. So does that mean there's 365 or 366 of those?
Now, Eowyn Langhoff Walker,
yes,
is the original profile manager for this profile. So I'm gonna guess that she's the one who dove deep.
And with a first name like Eowyn.
Well, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Her father was a big Tolkien fan.
Yeah. So there we go. So thanks, Eowyn, for creating this profile in the first place and keeping it looking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a poet, writer, professor, most famous for his creation of Middle Earth, of course, the books of Lord of the Rings, the Silmarillion, which actually was published after he died, which is interesting, and The Hobbit. I don't know, have either of you read the Silmarillion?
No.
So have you read the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit?
Yep.
I read The Hobbit. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I read all of them. I read them with my kid, who was way too young to read them.
Oh,
but we
yes.
read them anyway because he was just like, I need to read this.
Yeah.
So we read them together.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So the Silmarillion is, it's not it's very interesting, but it's a lot more sort of theoretical, and it's not like it doesn't read the same as a story as the other ones are, designed as. But it's quite interesting. If you're really into the lore, then that goes deep into sort of the building of the world and all that sort of stuff. Anyways, baptized on the 31st of January in Bloemfontein in Orange Free State. And he has a sibling and one younger brother, Hilary Arthur Reuel. So that Reuel name, was also his father's middle name, which was interesting. But I looked in the ancestors list on WikiTree, and it doesn't show up as someone's last name. So I'm not sure where it came from. But it's one that's been in the family. It was in the family, so interesting. Then he grew up in the Edgbaston area of Birmingham and went to King Edward's School in Birmingham and attended Exeter College in Oxford. So it didn't say when they moved from South Africa back to England, but obviously it was when he was fairly young. Interesting, his service in World War I became inspiration for his books. So I'm not, that's an interesting fact. He married Edith Mary Bratt. And this is interesting. His guardian barred him from seeing her due to her religion, until she reached a certain age. So he had to sort of drop his love affair until they were of appropriate age to date each other. They had 4 children together, and when he was not writing, he was a reader and a professor for many different colleges. He didn't actually realize, or he didn't intend to become an author, but when he showed one of his former students The Hobbit, they convinced him to publish it. And then, of course, the rest is history. He was also
a wonderful magical realm. It really is.
Oh, yeah, it is. And so many people are, credit that as sort of the big, a cornerstone of the fantasy literature. Whatnot. He was also close friends with C.S. Lewis, who was the author of the Narnia series. So it's interesting, 2 giants in fantasy literature, close friends with each other.
Would you say that Tolkien was a children's writer? I don't consider, or a young adult.
Well, The Hobbit was, originally was written for his children, right? Like he created the story to tell his children, basically, and then sort of polished it. I think that's the story of how that became across. And then, so I wouldn't say The Lord of the Rings is children's literature, but I would say they're both kingpins of fantasy literature anyways.
I'm looking in my Kobo store for the Silmarillion.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Yeah. So anyway, and look all the amazing pictures along the side that are added. Very cool. Very well done.
Excellent. They're very thorough.
Very thorough, yeah.
My word, there's so many books written about this book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a parody of it, biblical parallels.
Oh, yeah. There are whole university courses built on Tolkien's work, It's incredible what you can do. So getting to the one that we are most closely connected to is Colin Graham Botha. Born in 1883, 11 years before Tolkien, in Neisna, Cape Colony in South Africa. Passed away the 1st February 73 at the age of 89 in Johannesburg, Transvaal, South Africa. He was born on the 15th of August, son of Michael Christian Botha and Elizabeth Mary Young. And then he married Olive Stretch Honeyborn on 4th of December 1911. They lived in Cape Town, the Cape of Good Hope, and he passed away in 73. So his claim to fame is because of his work with the archives. So this he was the head of the Cape Archives.
Well, that fits. That's why we're all related.
For genealogists, this is a very important job and a very important person. And in 69, so he passed away in 73, so 4 years before his death, he recorded his life's memories on tape and told how his ancestors came to South Africa in 1766. So that's a lot of history he had recorded there. The progenitor's name, he said, was actually Boudier, later Buji, which became Budi, and then in the 19th century, Botha. And this tape was preserved in the Cape Archives and contains many details about the colorful career of Colin Graham Botha. He was born in the vicarage of Dutch Reformed Church of the picturesque town of Neisna by the sea. I can't remember what Real said, how to pronounce that Y, whether it's more of an A sound, Neisna, I think. He did not live there for long because his mother and father left the rectory and moved to Cape Town, where his father became a minister in another church. Anyway, 72, he said goodbye to many friends in Cape Town to live with his eldest daughter in Johannesburg, and that's where he passed away. But Cape Town was his real home, apparently. So an archivist, very appropriate. Margaret Constance Twentyman Jones was her maiden name, which is very interesting. So her father's name was actually Edward Lawrence Twentyman Jones. Now, I don't know where the 21 comes from. That 21, no, not 21, 20 man Jones. I said 21, didn't I?
Is she 20 Jones 1? Is she the
So
She
she becomes
is.
21?
She is.
Oh, you mean her
her ID? Yeah.
ID? Yeah, she is. She's 20 Jones 1. So
And her
let's see.
father
Her
is
father would be 21 Jones 2?
no, he's Jones.
He's just
136520.
Okay, let's see. Does it say where he
But
gets the 21?
but he has that as an alternate surname.
Huh.
Oh, and then there's
okay.
a non-hyphenated.
So it seems that more likely his descendants began using both since all had 20 man.
Oh, wait. I'm going up. Sarah Head, 20 Jones. That comes from her grandmother's side of the family.
Oh.
If you follow that 20-man name up, it and both of her great grandparents share the surname. Oh no, they don't. I'm sorry, I'm lost down a rabbit hole.
I know.
Rabbit hole.
There
we go. So there's Margaret. This is our profile person we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
There's the father who adopted 20 Jones, or the grandfather who had it, and then his mother had it. It was her maiden name. And the great grandfather, 20 man. Wow.
I gotta look it up.
Please. I want to know.
Inquiring minds need to know, where did this come from? Well, I mean, we found the original ancestor that had it.
Derived from an occupation, the twinterman, North English, one who tended twinters, or 2-year-old beasts.
What?
Yep.
Huh.
It's a medieval English surname believed to be most popular in Cumbria. Huh. Okay, sorry.
Thanks, Max.
Okay.
A man in charge of 20 troops also is one of them. That's from Ancestry.
So that would make more sense.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But the other one also does the 20
twinterman. Twain. 2-year-old beast. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Was that a rabbit hole
is when a heifer usually has their first calf. You know, if we're talking cows, you know.
Yeah.
2-year-old is a critical point in that. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Anyways, back to Margaret. So she was born in, where did we say that? Born in 1912. 26th of April, 1912. Isn't that just shortly after the Titanic sunk? I think that's around.
No, don't bring that up this week.
No, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, and I'm getting an invitation to the Tuberville family reunion on July 8th. Unfortunately, I'm going to be speaking in Columbia that day.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to be so close.
Anyways, she married John Howie Cairns in 1936 in Cape Town. It doesn't look like they have any children, none listed here. But she passed away at the age of 96, so she lived to a ripe old age in 2004, still living in the house she was born in. Now, how many people can say that? That's a pretty amazing thing. I think that's pretty cool. Moving on. Edward Lawrence Jones. No, that was that, yeah. Johannes August Hisa, born in Parle, Cape Colony, in 1907, the 11th November 1907, and died the 6th of November 1990. So he was the son of Johannes Friedrich Giesbert Reitz Hisa and Hester Francina de Villiers. He was married Magdalena Elizabeth de Toy, and they had 6 children, 5 daughters and 1 son, and then he passed away in South Africa. So in this profile, they actually show some of the actual records, which is always cool to investigate those and see them. And it has most of the facts sort of have little headings for themselves. Not so much of not a lot of a story weaved in and out, but it's got the basic facts. So there we go. And Johannes's claim to fame was he was the author of South African genealogies.
Oh,
Why aren't we related to him?
What's that?
I said, why aren't we related to him?
Yeah, that's right. Well, actually, I am a cousin. I'm a distant cousin of his, 20th cousin, 5 times removed. So there we go. Doctor. Next one, Floris Albertus van Jaarsveld, who's a distant cousin again, 21st cousin, 4 times removed. Through, looks like a French connection. Go far enough back. Born in Roewal, Grelingstad, Transvaal, Professor Floris Albertus van Jaarsveld, son of Ernest Jacobus van Jaarsveld and Alida Paulina van Jaarsveld. And this is interesting. This is the second profile that sort of starts with a quote about the death, sort of summarizing the life of the person. The death of Floris Albertus van Jaarsveld on the 7th of January, 1995, ended the career of one of South Africa's most prolific and controversial historians. His was a career dedicated to the service of his beloved Afrikaner folk, yet ironically, a folk that ultimately rejected him. Van Jaarsveld was born on the 5th of June, 1922, on the farm Uval in the Heidelberg, Transvaal district, the 5th of 7 children of farming parents. After matriculating from the Heidelberg Hogeschool School, he studied at the University of Pretoria, where he gained his MA in 1945, Master of Arts, on the role of Veldkornet in the history of South African Republic until 1870. In 1947, he entered the University of Groningen in the Netherlands, where he received his doctorate, and with the study of relations between the South African Republic and the Orange Free State. And then he taught at various high schools, before accepting a senior lectureship at the University of South Africa, became the head of history department, the newly founded Ramsey Afrikaanse Universiteit. And he accepted the chair in history there. And then there's a list of his publications. And then next we have Edward John Morse Jones, 25 degrees from me. And this again was one where they have the facts, the basic facts, but not so much a prose paragraph to describe how it all fits together. But we know he was born in 1889, July 1899. He died just 2 days shy of his 80th birthday. So technically he died at age 79, but it's just 80 minus 2 days.
Yeah.
So close.
So close.
So close. And he was married and married twice, it looks like. One child is on WikiTree. Doesn't say anything more about a few other children here. So
the way that's set up, it looks like originally it may have been a JEDCOM import.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that too. Does it say at the bottom? Does it say thank you to profile created by just in the 6th of June? So maybe not. It was part of the WikiTree challenge. Next, we have Roloff Tunis Johannes Lombard, another distant cousin, son of Gert Wilhelmus Lombard and Johanna Christina Petronella. Born on the 17th September 1931 in Bloemhof, Transvaal. Passed away at the age of 79, the 5th of July, 2011. And Roloff was born in South Africa, married Rhoda Mullen in 55, 22nd December. And they had 2 children and passed away in Pretoria. Most of the data comes from the recollections of Anna Marie, the second daughter. And then we go to Zenzile Miriam Makeba, who is known as Mama Africa, a South African singer, songwriter, and actress, United Nations Goodwill Ambassador, and civil rights activist, associated with musical genres, including Afropop, jazz, and world music. She was an advocate against apartheid and white minority government in South Africa. She was born in 1932 in Prospect Township in Johannesburg and died at the age of 76 on the 9th of November in 2008 in Castle Volturno, Caserta, Campania, Italia.
I want somebody to put a note on my profile that I am associated with Nina Simone. Please. Please. That is so cool.
Associated with Nina Simone.
Just do it. Go ahead.
Nothing else is there to describe what the association is, what they were friends, they were besties. What's the connection?
Just put it on my profile.
No, maybe your profile say associated with Greg Clark and Betsy Coe. And other riffraff.
Look who's here. June Buka just came in.
Hey, better late than never. Welcome, June. Marjorie. How are we doing? Marjorie Diane Murray Nash, born in 1928 in Cape Colony. She's the author of numerous studies of the 1820 settlers. That's very specific.
Ooh,
just settlers in 1820.
Cousin.
What's that?
She's a 15th cousin of mine.
Oh, good. And she's 21st of mine. You're always closer in the cousinships. Is she a cousin of yours, Betsy?
I'm looking. My 15th cousin once removed.
There we go.
Same as me. Do you share Isabel Bannon Wadham?
Oh.
In Gilles Briges?
As most common recent ancestor?
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay. All right.
Click under more. Click the more button if you have the extension, because there's lots of options.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Look at all the different.
Wow. Oh, it goes on forever.
Yeah, it does.
It does not end. Wow.
Okay. Endogamy at work.
Endogamy at work.
My 32nd great grandfather, Iago Ab Idwal, 908 to 979.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Huh.
That's wild. Okay. So according to the so she wrote all about the 1820 settlers, made a handbook about them, noted historian, married James Stowe Nash, and died in Grahamstown, South Africa. And then here's some of the entries from the research. Then we have a famous painter, Jacobus Hendrik Pierneef, born on 13th of August, 1886 in Pretoria, and died 4th of October, 1957 at the age of 71, also still in Pretoria. He's a landscape artist, one of the best of the old South African masters. And there's an example, Willow Tree.
Oh, nice.
Distinctive style, widely recognized. His work was greatly influenced by the South African landscape. He simplified landscape to geometric structures using flat planes, lines, and color to present the harmony and order in nature. His representations of the South African landscape had dramatic light and color. Can be viewed worldwide in many different places. It's kind of nice. And there's the artist at work right there. That's very cool.
I do like the light in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the earth, if you look at the sky, the earth kind of has a halo.
Yeah.
It's a little bit lighter, right close to the earth.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's sort of more gentle rolling hills, it looks like, right?
Yeah.
We talked about JRR already, and the last one that we haven't got to yet is Bishop Desmond Mpilo Tutu, born in 1931 in Klerksdorp, Transvaal, and passed away on Boxing Day, or the Feast of St. Stephen, December 26th, December 2021, at the age of 90. He has a few categories here: Anglican Archbishop from the University of London, Nobel Laureate, Human Rights Activist, Presidential Medal of Freedom, South African roots, South African notables. Of course, he's famous for many things, and they just bulleted some of those. His work as anti-apartheid and human rights activist, General Secretary of the South African Council of Churches, Bishop, Archbishop of Cape Town, first Black African to hold the positions of Bishop and Archbishop. Nobel Peace Prize winner in 94, and he was nominated in 1984, nominated in 81, 82, and 83, prior to that. Popularized the term Rainbow Nation as a metaphor for post-apartheid South Africa after 94 under the ANC rule, which is interesting. And post-apartheid, his status as a gay rights activist kept him in the public eye more than any other issue facing the Anglican Church. And then he retired in 2010, but still maintained interest in social issues. Yeah. Yeah. Second of 6 children, born to Zachariah Zililo and Alita Dorothea Mevorstek Tutu.
Greg?
Yep.
You have a question.
What extension
shows the relationships at the top?
That would be the WikiTree browser extension. So if you, I'm actually using this on Safari. So in Safari, it's still in beta mode. It's getting really close to being released. And when it is, you can just download it from the extension store if you go to Safari and Safari extensions. But for now, if you're interested, there's a you can send an email to Jamie or contacts, or you can contact me and I can set you up so you can try it out. But
now you're assuming they're working on a Mac.
For Safari, yes. But it's also available on Chrome and Firefox on all platforms, Mac and Windows.
And it's available. So just go to the extension and look for the WikiTree extension.
It's the WikiTree browser extension. And there's a help page for that. There's a free space page that gives you all the details of how to install it. And when I turn it over to Betsy, then I will find the link to that and put that in the...
And on Mondays, there have been a wonderful series of WikiTree tours videos on the YouTube channel that show off all the many, many things that you can do with the browser extension.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
And do I have time? I wonder if I should.
She's
on a Mac. She's on a Mac.
Okay.
Then that'll work. It'll work for you, Crystal. Do you want me to show off the change I've made to the apps, or?
Yeah. Can I make a correction real quick?
Sure.
Aowen did not create the token.
She didn't.
I posted it in the chat already, but it was not Aowen who created his profile.
Didn't. Okay. I see. Okay. So I'm going to go to the tree apps. I've updated a couple of my apps this week. Some of these updates have been a long time in process, but I finally got around to working on them. And one of them is this one called the Ancestor Webs, which is kind of, what's it waiting for?
I like that one.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat one when it doesn't crash.
It looks like art.
Let's see, what's happening here, buddy?
Did you make yourself private again?
No, I don't think I made myself private, but there's something is not, it's not liking something there. Let me go to
it's Murphy's Law.
Yeah, I know. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, how pretty.
Yeah.
Oh no, it gets prettier. Like you can do.
So the idea of the Ancestor Webs is that as you add more links to it, it goes out and it basically it starts out like just a regular pedigree chart, and because this will get really wide, the default view when you're in full mode, so you see the full pedigree, is I just use initials. But if you wanna, you can go to the settings and you can change the name, so you could have you can make it really small by just using first initials. Or make it super wide by using full names, but then, so that's much more legible, but you have this huge wide screen, so you can't.
Are these changes, the new changes?
I've added some features here, so you have more options to choose from.
Okay, cool.
And I've also improved the way things overlap or don't overlap. There's still, if you have really wide names or a name with a lot of middle names, so the initials go on, there's still going to be some wrapping and whatnot, but anyways, eventually you'll get to the point where if you have endogamy, you will see the same person will show up more than once. So let me show you my, so here is, oh no, come on.
Tree apps are running slowly according to Debbie Root.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, just my luck then.
Look at that collaborative help here right in the Saturday morning LiveCast.
Well, that's unfortunate because, it looks like this one has crashed on me. I wonder if I can show it. Let me try running over here. Okay, I'm just going to move something else over here. There I am. So now if I go up to a few, I continue to load. At some point, I think by the 9th generation, I finally get some repeat ancestors. There we go. And if I click on repeat, then it just shows me the ones that are repeated. So at the 9th generation, I have 2 ancestors. And if I were to show you their names, you can see how I have 2 lines that come down. But when I go to 10 generations, all of a sudden, let me go back to the initials. It just becomes, it goes from 2 to 23, and then I go add another one, and it goes even more nuts.
Wow.
So the feature that I've added is the ability now to add a second person to the list. So if I add Ferriolo 2, which is our buddy Chris Ferriolo, who also has Quebec ancestry in his roots. So as it's loading his people, you can see the message here says it's retrieving more family members. If we share common ancestors, this will now show. So here it is. It shows the repeat ancestors for Chris. So at generation 10, he only has 1 repeat ancestor. He only has 1 ancestor at the 10th. But you go back 1 generation, and all of a sudden he has 25 repeats. And if you go back another one, he has 114, whereas I have 266. But let's see if we have anyone in common. So if I click on the common here, we have 99. So let's dial that back a bit. Okay.
You and I have 2, according to
this. So here we're at 10 generations. We have 4 ancestors in common. And if I put in full name, so those 4 common: François Michel Brisson, Gabriel Trudel, Marie-Angélique Grégoire, and Etienne Lessard descend from both of us. And if I want to see, let's look into the specifics. Let's pick out there's Lessard. So that's how we both are descended from Etienne Lessard. This is how we're both descended from François Michel Brisson. And now let's go up to a few generations and let's see. Look at this one. Some of these webs can get really interconnected. And there's one which, let's see. Can't remember. There's, I had one that was Trottier, I think is a good one. Look at that one. Look at the web of people connecting us. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm going to have to play with this.
Yeah.
I did one when you first came out with this that showed everybody from my earliest known ancestor. And it looks like a 1960s cool art piece.
String art, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I've improved that and the interface. So now I've one of the changes I've made was, well, first of all, adding the second person so you can compare the webs of yourself. Not only look at your own repeats, but also look at yours compared to someone else's and where you come in common. And then when you look in the single, I've alphabetized them so it's quicker to go there, and you can see the generations in brackets. So because Chris and I are about the same generation, genealogically, most of these are the same. Some of them are slightly different, but most of them, like Luke Tarragon, 12 generations away from me, only 11 from Chris, but you know, and the double stars means that there might be more than one path connecting them. So for this one here, for example, like there's multiple paths connecting Jean-Baptiste to both of us. So anyways, because there was a lot of interconnection in the South African profiles, I thought this was sort of appropriate to show this off. So there we go. And there's also some changes in the fan chart, but I'm going to do a G2G post about that in a few days. So I'll update people on that too. So excellent. Thank you for bearing with me as I show off.
Oh, no. Thank you, Greg, for all your work on this. These tools they're fun and they're helpful.
They're fun.
Yeah.
And huge thanks to my fellow developers who helped me out, and Real, who helped me out with not only the South African pronunciation, but has also helped me with this as well. And I was going to show his profile, but that crashed as well. Sorry.
I was, I was thinking these are just such great visual displays to try and hook in our family members, to show them what to appreciate what draws us into genealogy.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, speaking of drawing people into genealogy.
Yeah. Nice segue.
Thank you. The tip of the week is how to invite people to WikiTree. And so there is the link for the help page. And I guess I have to add myself to the stream, don't I? Add to stream. Okay. So there are a couple of ways you can invite people to WikiTree. Now, if they are family members who already have a profile member on who already have a profile in WikiTree, you can just click the edit tab on their page. Now, I have a living aunt who has a profile. I've to protect her privacy, I've already clicked edit. And so so imagine going to the person's profile, click edit, and then you would just scroll down and you would add in the person's email address. And they will get an email with instructions on how to join. This is also that field for an email address is also part of the things when you're creating a new profile and it's for a living person, you can add their email address. They don't need to become full-fledged active members. They can just enjoy the content that you've created without adding to it. But if they want to collaborate, then they do have to sign the honor code. What was that?
I have a question about that. So if you invite someone by putting their email address in there, do you lose control of their profile?
That's a great question. And it's addressed down below. So in this the next section is talking about, well, how do you invite somebody who's no relation to you whatsoever? Maybe your next door neighbor is a genealogist. So you would add them as an unrelated person. And the way you do that, let me just go over to a fresh page. Okay, so you would add new person, and there should be, I imagine when you go to continue, there would be a slot for the email address. And that person, because you're creating them, would become part of your trusted list, your watch list, but then, and you vice versa, but that can all be changed. Okay. So, but your question was for somebody that you are related to, right, Greg?
Yeah, yeah.
And your question is,
if you invite them and they accept the invite, if they're a living person, then are you still a member of their trusted list or watch list? Like, can you still edit their profile?
Right.
Like, I'm thinking someone might accept the invitation, and sort of become sort of a WikiTree member, but then they don't do much with it. But if you want to update,
right. I don't have direct experience with that, but I'm thinking that you would still remain the profile manager or on the trusted list, and that any sort of change in that would have to be done manually between you and the other person. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So yeah, easy.
GSL answers here.
Oh.
If someone answers the invitation, you're no longer manager of their profile, but you remain on their trusted list.
Huh.
So you can do edits or you can't do edits?
You can. If you're on the trusted list, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, GSL.
Yeah.
Great. So easy to
Mhm.
invite more people to WikiTree. More people on WikiTree mean more connections that we all can make. So
Mhm.
win, win, win.
Win,
Wow.
win, win, win.
Win.
It's 11 o'clock.
No
But
way.
we have some pictures, Mags.
Oh, dang it.
Just
Well, not dang it. Yay.
yay!
If I hadn't showed off the app, we would have been on time.
No, it's okay. I just, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore.
We
No.
can go till midnight.
Well, maybe not.
Okay, so this is the last week for the theme of music. And whoops, we have this picture that Donna Bellman, who's in the chat,
Nice.
contributed. The trumpeter corps of the City Music Club of Erkelenz.
Nice.
Erkelenz.
Mhm.
Her husband's first cousin 3 times removed, Franz Frings, was the director and probable one-time trumpeter in this band. She's not exactly sure who he is. But as you can see, there's this X right here. So that maybe is a good hint that this gentleman in the front row, second from right, is her husband's cousin. So that looks like a treasure.
Neat.
And then
Sehr gut.
they're good. Mark Williams contributed this, and I guess this is him. He's playing the cello.
Wow.
1987. He traveled to Augusta, Georgia, to play the role of Henrik Eigerman in A Little Night Music.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
A young seminary student. Oh, that's why it looked like as a priest. Yes, but as a seminary student. The character he's playing is a seminary student, so that's why he's got the Roman collar.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's in love with his stepmother. The character is, who's this woman behind him?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's complicated. And then one more. We have Mary Trevor playing her flute. Yay, flute! So next month's photo themes are let me get out. Police, military, and firemen. Fire people. Firefighters. There you go. So start thinking about what photos you have along those themes. And
I have a photo of a firefighter.
Excellent.
My pa-in-law was a firefighter.
Oh
yeah. So great. We are working on getting this information out to you about what you can do to help share things. We'll get over to the social media and the WikiTree G2G feed on what's coming up right now. Recent questions. Have you registered for the 2023 Connect-a-thon yet? I have.
Team Italy.
No, Team Cornbread Catchers. There's still not an Appalachian team.
Really? How is that possible?
I don't know. They're still looped in with the Virginia team. And I'm sorry. I'm being a Carolinian. I just can't join the Virginia team. Sorry. All right. So have you registered for the Connect-a-thon? It's coming up. It is coming up fast. So go in here and answer the question and say, yeah, sign me up for the Kiwi Crew, please. And that was from Aowen.
Yeah.
No, Aowen answered it. No? Yeah.
No.
Who asked to sign up? We don't see.
Well, Cheryl register. Yeah.
That was hard to figure out. Anyway.
I was so excited. I answered it. I registered for Team Italy twice. I did it like first thing in the morning when the notice came out, and then after lunch I thought, I don't remember if I registered, so I answered again. And then Melanie Paul, who's right on the ball apparently in GG more than I was, said, "You've already applied for Team Italy."
Did you get 2 bibs?
Well, I asked, so does that mean I get 2 servings of pasta?
Yeah, 2 servings of pasta. The Kentucky Genealogical Society is the WikiTree Challenge 11. So if you're interested in that, head over and check that out. And of course, Alan has popped up this wonderful list for us for the end of June. Let's see. Today is the 24th. And as I understand, June only has 30 days. So get your recipes in before that 30-day. Don't go to 31 or you will miss it.
And can I just say, Max? So this cookbook that we keep talking about, it will be released in November for WikiTree Day, and it will be a free ebook.
Ooh. But
nice.
But okay, so my son came in and he said, "How about that broccoli casserole?" And I was like, "Yeah, Doodles." He said, "Yeah." And we were talking about how he likes it, how I like it, because we make Thanksgiving dinner for America here for Thanksgiving. That way we get to have 2 Thanksgivings, 2 turkeys.
Yes.
And he said, I always thought that was somebody's recipe. And then I actually looked at the screenshot that Mom sent me, and it's Doodle's recipe, my grandmother Doodle. And in a recipe book, all of my recipe books have family history written in them.
Oh.
So an ebook won't have that.
Well,
how do I get family history written into the ebook?
We could do scans. Like you could take a photo. We were going to include the WikiTree profile IDs. So no, definitely it's going to be much more than just the plate.
Okay, so I need to scan, like my grandmother, Mama would write like the Stones. There's a cookbook with a lot of recipes from the Stone family, and she would circle the people that were related to us in this cookbook. And she would write cousin Joe's little sister or whatever.
Amazing. Yes, no, that the context of the family history is a vital part of the whole
rabbit hole.
Yeah. Rabbit hole, yes.
Greg, get your TARDIS out, man.
There we go. No, I don't have my TARDIS. I've just got water.
So today, the Saturday roundup, we've got the sourcing sprint going on today. The German Stammischt is happening. Friday night date night. Go and hang out with Julie. She gets so lonely. She's always looking for dates, dress up, bring her flowers. Julie loves that. And we have the social media calendar that Ms. Az puts together for us. I guess this would be this week, the 24th. And we don't have the 25th up yet, but if you want to share information for the social media team in all of your social media platforms, she has a great list of stuff and links that you can grab for Twitter. What is this one?
Is that Mastodon?
Mastodon. What's this one?
Is that Pinterest?
Wait.
And TikTok. Yeah, I'm not a big,
No, me neither. I'm just guessing.
My good friend Betsy said, "Hey, I'm following you on Twitter. Can you follow me back?" It took me 20 minutes to figure out how to do that. Because I'm not a big Facebook, yes, the rest of that stuff, no. So if you are into all of that stuff, you can pick up these great things and help the Ambassadors Project by getting that information out there. All right. So, yeah. And I guess I need to get some recipe book pages sent over. We love spending our Saturday mornings with you guys.
We do.
So please come back next week. We will see you. I may not be in Ottawa next week when you come to see me.
You're not going to be in Canada for Canada Day?
No.
What's that?
I'm going to be out of the country. We'll
talk
later.
Outraged.
We'll tell you, outraged. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about Canada Day next week. Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about Canada Day next week. Is it Canada Day next week?
It is Canada Day. Yes.
It's going to be Canada Day.
It's going to be a huge day where there's going to be a big party. All my siblings will be there. We'll talk about it next week.
In the LiveCast?
Not in the LiveCast. No.
Oh, okay. I'm like, Greg, that's pretty.
Oh yeah. I talk about my family. Here they are.
It will be a 4-hour live cast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's Greg. Yeah. So we will see you again next week.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend.
Time. Let's see.
Bye.
Here we go.